Welcome to the Great Girlfriends podcast, where we discuss life, love, laughter, and everything in between. We're your hosts. I'm Sybil Amuti.
And I'm Brandis Daniel.
What's up, great girlfriends?
Hey, great girlfriends.
Y'all, I've been with Brandis all day. I could scream. It's time to go home. I've had enough.
I assume that's like a scream of gratitude.
Girl, I'm going to miss you till Thursday.
I'm sure.
I'm about to have a whole bunch of
That's a scream of gratitude.
Hey, y'all. What up, what up? How the girlfriends doing?
Angela. So we have Angela Dort in the studio with us, who's been acting as our production assistant.
Say hi,
today.
Angela.
Hey. And she just like, what in the heck did I get myself into?
Surprise. Angela, we love you. Thank you. Angela's been time checking us, y'all. I don't even want to glance up because she's like, 5. You have 5. You're down to 3 minutes. I know. She makes it hard for us. So, Brandis.
Yes,
Hey,
Sybil.
girl.
Hey, Sybil.
How you doing?
Girl, I'm leaning in over here.
I know that's right.
After that last episode.
I got some new things to take care of for sure.
Yeah, I am. You guys remember the episode that we released? Was that the first Wednesday in October? I believe, on Leaning In. So I am absolutely taking notes from that episode, and I am fully leaning in over here.
Good for you.
Thank you.
I'm going to lean when I get home. No, I'm not. I'm serious. I'm feeling really good because that episode particularly had me thinking about like some things I need to do with some clients around personal branding and some areas of focus that I know I need to have some people dedicate, and even in my own life, some things that need to be handled. So it was tough, but it really did remind me of like the last stretch. So if you haven't listened, get back on iTunes.
Yes.
And listen to that episode. But today we want to tap in. Well, before we tap into what our episode is, we love to shout out one of our really great iTunes reviews because we got some really amazing reviews here. And you see this really long one? You want me to do that one?
Let's read that. Who is
Okay.
that?
This is review number 16. Complete Game Changer is the subject.
Do we know them?
By Chocolate. I don't.
Hi, Chocolate.
Chocolate. And this was just so detailed. I mean, oh my goodness. I'm so reading this. Here we go. A friend of mine shared a link on Facebook early this week. Stylecaster's best podcast for women. We were listed on the list.
Yeah.
Boom pow. And recommended The Great Girlfriends. After checking out the website, Facebook page, and social media accounts, she really did vet us hard.
She vetted our butts.
Way to vet. I wanted to hear what these phenomenal ladies had to share. And after she looked at our social media, she called us phenomenal. Wow. I appreciate that. She likes all the shenanigans. She says, I initially set out to listen to 1, maybe 2 podcasts a day and catch it if I liked it in a few weeks. No. Brandis and Sybil had another plan for me entirely. Day 1, I listened to about 5 to 6 episodes.
Wow.
Girl. She said, I only came up to eat and drink water so my family didn't find me lifeless. Death by Awesome Podcast. Oh my goodness. She said, it has been a few days of these marathon listening sessions. Listening while I work, drive, and exercise at the gym. Side note, I never listen to podcasts at the gym. I usually prefer something upbeat to keep me going. TGG is as upbeat as a Drake song. Yeah! You mean we compared a Hotline Bling?
Right.
I love that.
I love it.
I was perfectly fine. So far, I have enjoyed the free-flowing, honest, real, and enlightening conversations. But my absolute favorite episodes have been episode 11, No More Shrinking. I think that's still my favorite episode.
That's still one of my favorite, too.
Yeah. Episode 12, Too Good to Be True, The Fear of Success. That might be my favorite.
I love that one,
Yeah.
too.
Episode 16, Faith, The Key Ingredient for Successful Entrepreneurship, with guest girlfriend Kristen Pope. Yeah, I love that one, too. Okay. Episode 17, Secrets to Attracting Great Girlfriends. That was pretty good too. I guess they're all good. But anyway, she says, here are her notes. TGG podcast, a complete game changer for women of all ages, professions, locations, and positions in life. But beware, it's incredibly addictive. Topics of discussion include life, love, professional development, and self-improvement. The host, she calls us lively, upbeat, loving, phenomenal, generous, and successful. i.e. the most ideal teacher/mentors. You, she says, check it out to learn, be inspired and uplifted. Also join the Facebook group. So many gems in there.
Okay. So did you pay her?
I did not pay her. I'd pay her again though.
I'm like, girl, we owe you an offering.
She is fantastic.
Because that was amazing.
That was so thorough. Thank you so much. And I mean, these reviews, girlfriends, so you know, we need these reviews because it helps us to get a greater grasp on what we're doing and make sure that we're giving you what you want. And also in iTunes, it really sets us up for, higher visibility. And it just helps us with our brands and credibility. And it just makes it really good because every review matters. So our goal is to hit that 50 mark. And we need you all to go into iTunes and do so.
That was amazing. I'm still blown away. Yes. Thank you so much, great girlfriend.
Thank you. Ooh. And thank you to everyone who participated in our contest to reach 3,000 followers on Instagram. Brandis and I are growing in our social media commitment. Because
we are.
We could do a lot better, but you guys have done such a good job of pushing us over 3,000. So thank you so much for joining us on Instagram at The Great Girlfriends. And the contest announcements are going out and that swag bags are going out.
Yeah.
The gifts are going out.
I love it. Yay.
Like Brandis says, anywho.
What
are we talking about today, Brandis?
Oh, okay. So this is going to be really good for some of our great girlfriends. Some of our other great girlfriends, you may not like Sybil and I after this, but it's okay. You're still going to love us.
That's true.
And we're going to love you too. So it's all good. But there is a thing, on social media that says, do what you love, follow your passion, follow your dreams. And everyone seems to equate that with quitting their jobs.
Oh, yeah. That's like the ultimate cliff jump. It's like, you know what? I'm just leaving my job. I'm just doing it.
I'm done.
I'm just gonna walk on water.
I'm done.
Yeah.
And so today we're going to actually give you guys, hopefully, what could be helpful tips on when to quit your job, or how do you know when to quit your job?
Yes. And it's crucial because we get the emails after girlfriends are saying, hey, I listened to the podcast and I decided to go and I quit and I'm going to go find my purpose and I'm going to go locate my passion. And it's, we get a lot of like the Eat, Pray, Love emails. They're like, I'm just going to go explore and locate. And I'm like, goodness, where are they going?
We also get the emails that, okay, great girlfriends, I've quit my job. Now, and I moved to Timbuktu.
And I can't find it.
And now what do I do?
I don't even know how to, and we get all of that. And then we get the ones that say, I quit and I opened a new business and here it is.
Right.
And I'm so excited to present it to you. Thank you for pushing me over.
Absolutely.
So we get all of them. And so for those that are struggling with the idea, and just to be clear, when we say quit your job, we're talking about people who are leaving their current place of employment for their next whatever. It doesn't necessarily mean entrepreneurship. It could mean, corporapreneurship. Maybe you want to get a new position, or maybe you want to, start a nonprofit. Maybe you are, jumping into entrepreneurship or some, blogging or whatever that is for you. But we want to be clear that it's not everybody taking a leap into entrepreneurship. Some people are leaving for their next, but not really clear on what that is. So just some backstory on me, because I've done a bunch of leaves, y'all.
Yeah,
I mean, I'm good on a peace out when it's showtime.
I feel you.
So my first time that I had to leave a job and pursue my next was, okay, so I had gone to undergrad in New Orleans at Dillard University. Shout out to all the HBCUs. Dillard University makes some noise. And after that, I came up to New York for grad school at Columbia. So as you guys know, when I graduated Columbia, I went back to New Orleans to live for a year, and I was going to go work in my field because that's what I thought I was supposed to do. Deep down inside, I knew that I was supposed to be in New York working in fashion as a model, but I was too scared to just do that completely. So I was like, no, I'm just going to work in my field. So anyway, when I went back to New Orleans and I was working my job, and don't get me wrong, I really liked what I was doing.
What were you doing?
I was working as a mapping technologist, a GIS specialist.
Okay.
So one of my trade professions is I know how to make maps. Okay. And this is pre all these automated maps, but that's part of like urban planning, economic development. And that's how I ended up in branding, is through maps. But anyway, so I was working on the technology side. And that voice and that what people call their gut, what I call the God in me, that voice on the inside of me was telling me, go, 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 go. And after hearing it for months and knowing that it wasn't me, because I'm a very logical person. My logic said stay and get paid.
Right.
But that gut was saying go and experience God. I left. And I left because I was in a space where I knew I was supposed to go pursue fashion as a model, leave New Orleans behind. Everyone thought I was crazy. My parents were like, are you okay? Like, we're praying for you.
Right.
All the prayers and stuff. And I left. Go ahead.
We offer Lakeside to you.
And all the aunties are on the phone. Everybody's trying to figure it out. Like, does she need help? What is it? No, it was God pushing me. So I left for that season. Then I got to New York, got back into fashion, was working as a model, and I was working in GIS part-time at night to pay my bills.
Right.
While I'm still out during the day going to castings and so forth. I felt like I was at the end of my season as a model. I lied to myself. I was getting tired of the rejection. So I quit.
Okay.
Right? Because I wasn't ready to face the sacrifice that it took during that season. And I ended up going back into branding in some sort. And I got hired on at Limited Brands at Victoria's Secret. Then I got hired on, BCBG. Then I got hired on at Limited Brands, and I escalated over to Bed Bath & Beyond. And by this time I'm into the career mode.
Okay.
And I have forsaken everything that I was supposed to be doing.
Wow.
And when I got to the position at Bed Bath & Beyond, I was so far off my path, I knew I was nuts. I couldn't even take it, the skin I was in. So I left there because I was out of my skin.
Right.
I was off my path. There's no semblance of my purpose inside of me. I just felt lost. I was very comfortable salary-wise, but there was nothing on the inside of me that felt connected to what I was doing. And after, even the good things that I was doing, after those were being stripped from me, I knew I had nothing to offer. So I left. Long story short, I fast forward, and after I've worked with a company, helped to build it from the ground up for over 10 years to 2015. And in 2013, I knew that I was going to need to leave. I knew it. And wow. It was something I didn't even want to face, but I knew it. And I didn't know when. I just knew it would happen. And I knew that I had to do everything. I believe you do it in excellence as long as you can. Right. And you don't quit until you can say, well done. That's right. When I think, I personally feel like the timing is. But then I also know that there's a part of you where God's like, you got a time, but I got a time.
Right.
And so I had exceeded my time. Again. And I started, remember I told you, I'm having anxiety attacks. I've never had anxiety before. I'm afraid on planes. I'm having all kind of isms and obias.
Right.
All kind of fears that were trying to capture me because I was outside of my season. And my purpose was very clear to me, but I wasn't operating in it fully. I was forsaking it in exchange for something else. So I finally got up the nerve and the courage to say yes to me and leave. So I left again. And so that would, for me, when I say I've done my share of leaving, all of them have been fairly intentional. A couple times, I wasn't really clear on what it was, but I knew it wasn't there.
Right.
And I knew I had to make a decision. But the thing about the thread for me was always clear was this mission. I think for me, leaving my job has always been for a greater pursuit of the mission.
Right.
However that's going to translate and play out in my life. And that's been important for me because when I hear people saying that they're leaving to find their purpose, I'm like, a purposeful person, will leave with intention in mind, knowing I'm going out to do something greater or stronger or better that is along my path, but not to locate something that's on the inside of me. I can't locate my purpose out there.
Right.
My purpose is in here.
Absolutely.
And these places where, we operate as employees, be it even in our own company, as CEO or female founder, whatever it is, that's where we pour our purpose.
Absolutely.
HFR.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
That's where we put Legacy Row, Great Girlfriends. This is where we pour purpose that we already have.
Yeah.
So I want to address that because it's so hard for me when people are saying, I'm going out to find it. And I'm like, no, don't go out.
Right. Because when
Don't
you
go
go out, let me tell you what's waiting on you when you go out.
Gosh, sometimes nothing.
There are hours and hours in a day. And what I realize what happens a lot of the time is that people don't realize how much time is taken up by a job.
Oh my goodness.
So when you go out there and there are all those hours and hours and you're trying to figure out what in the heck do I do with these hours?
I thought I knew.
I knew.
And I often daydreamed and said, if only I had more time.
now time is a curse.
Now you got the time and you're afraid of it.
You're afraid.
You don't really know what to do with it.
You're afraid of the time. You feel overwhelmed. And if you've never quit a job and you don't know what this feels like, and as we're talking about this, you're like, girl, please, I would love to have that time. You just have to trust Sybil and I. We don't lie to you guys. We keep it 100.
Absolutely.
Trust me when I say, because when you take a day off, totally different.
It's totally different.
It's totally different from taking a day off.
Yeah. It's very different when you are the captain of your ship and when you have the responsibility of stewardship and you have to consider all the different things that your corporate structure may have considered for you, be it the accounting that you don't want to do. We all like the inflow.
Right.
You know what I mean? We like the money coming in, but to manage all that and to manage the ideas and how to execute that. And we think we're the queen of execution because we're in a system that supports our queenship and gives us the ability to execute at a certain level.
Right.
But what about when you don't have all that neat technology, that expensive technology that your corp is paying for, and you don't have the, all the equipment and you don't have all the staff that's surrounding.
Right.
And you're your own assistant. You're your own operations manager. You're your own founder. You're your own IT department. You got to troubleshoot. You got to spend half a day at Apple. I know, baby. I know. Brandon's had an Apple situation. That was for her. But seriously.
Game. It really is. And I mean, I'm the queen of cliff jump. But I think you have to be smart. And I even think about my stories when I quit my job. I mean, I've quit now twice. Big opportunities. One, I was a senior assistant buyer for Catherine's. And I quit that job really not knowing. I knew I was going to move to New York, but I didn't really understand how that was all going to come together. I knew I was gonna look. we have Angela, our production assistant, here shaking her head. But I knew I was moving to New York. I didn't know how that was all going to come together. I didn't really know where I was going to live. I really didn't know where I was going to work. And I really didn't know how I was going to pay my bills. But I did know that I was supposed to be here. And sometimes I do think, for me, leaving was about, I wasn't just leaving and quitting, right? I was leaving and I had decided that I was moving to New York no matter what.
Yeah.
I literally had made, in my heart, in my mind, it was done. It was as good as done. I was not unclear about it at all.
Yeah.
But I was very wise in how I quit. So when I quit, I did a resignation letter to my boss, my boss's boss, my boss's boss's boss, and to the CEO of the company. And in those letters, I put everything I had learned from them. I really buttered them up. Really good. And honestly, I knew they all had relationships in New York.
Yeah.
So that's how I did it. And it really did work out. I ended up working for a company in New York that I was working with in Memphis and got, raving reviews from my people in Memphis because the way that I quit was honorable. And I gave them plenty of notice.
Right.
And they were, I had so many going away parties. I still have a book that they made me. Everybody made me this huge book of all these things. Because I treated people right while I was there.
Yes.
And so when I quit, the CEO of the company called me to her office. I never had a meeting in her office. I never stepped foot in her office and said to me, Brandis, what are you doing when you go to New York? And do you have a place to live? Okay, you don't have a place to live? Here's my nephew's number. Where are you going to work? And I told her, well, what are they going to pay you? Okay, let me know if that don't work out. So it was just I went with a lot of support. Yeah. And then the second time that I quit, it was at a company where, again, like you, I wasn't making I was making six figures with my bonus. And that was honestly it was tough, but it was easy. I had a few months of savings, but I had started this business and I had been doing my 9 to 8, 9 to 9, because I didn't have a 9 to 5, and had been working Harlem's Fashion Row like at night, and I felt like I had gotten it to a place where honestly I could not figure out how to do both anymore.
Yeah.
Yes. I just couldn't figure it out. And something kept telling me this year, Branda's, is going to be a really big year. And the company I work at, that they can say, Brandis, you need to go to Indonesia for a week. We need you to leave on Thursday. So I was like, I need to be in a place where I can actually devote all this time to Harlem's Fashion Row. And that was a year that Target came on board as a big sponsor, which I would have never been able to manage had I not quit.
Yeah.
But it wasn't easy.
No. I know.
It was not easy. And it's still not easy.
Yes.
Let me keep it 100.
Year, right?
Huh?
Was that Lincoln Center year?
That was Lincoln Center.
Yes. Yeah, that was a wild year, boy.
That was a wild year. And there was no way in the world I would have been able to do that event at Lincoln Center on that scale working my job.
No.
But it had to happen for HFR.
Yeah. Yeah, I think what you said was so important because I, like you, believe that when we do these things, you know, our relationships matter the most. And, you know, when we work at a company or wherever we are, we're working, you know, for that vision or towards that vision, but we're working on relationships the entire time.
Yes.
And what better good could we do ourselves than to be able to bag those relationships up from all these different entities that we've all contributed towards with that blessing, and them saying, who can I call for you? What can I do for you? And I mean, that feeling is so gratifying because you know that you have given what you deserve to give and what they deserve to receive at these companies. And that, you know, when you invest in someone else's vision, you will reap that same thing into your own vision. May not be from the same source, but you will reap it.
You will absolutely reap it.
Yeah. I mean, when you look at all of the people, I look at this every year at HFR. This year I didn't cry, but most years I cry because I'm like, look at all of the people that are like, you know, like investing in this vision, that are pouring into this vision, that are in support of it. It's so amazing to me to see all the volunteers, and they're owning what they do, and they're doing it with a sense of excellence because it matters to them. Yeah. Here she goes.
No, I'm not about to cry. Good. I promise I'm not.
But when I see that, it reminds me more and more of how much we really are. Yes, we are working at our jobs and we're doing what we do, but we're working relationships the entire time.
You're working relationships the entire time. And I think one of the things, even with the Great Girlfriends, is the purpose piece. Like Sybil was like, you don't leave your job to go find purpose. The purpose is already there.
That's right.
And you take that out into the world. And I look at even, you know, guys, I wish we could really, like, we could write a whole book on the Great Girlfriends Conference.
Oh my
because
goodness.
it was literally miracle after miracle after miracle after miracle. But I think it's because what we do here is so much bigger than Sybil and I. Yeah. Sybil and I know that this is not about us.
Absolutely.
We understand that we are on assignment.
Yes.
And so we're fulfilling our assignment.
And that's the same thing, you know, it's purpose. And then they're saying, you know, my passion, and I got to find my passion, but my passion for people pours into everything that I do. Your passion for people pours into everything that you do.
Absolutely.
And that translates, be it me doing some maps. Am I going to do it with excellence? When I'm doing someone's brand plan, when I'm working with a celebrity or I'm working with an up and coming brand and they're looking to get clarity around their brand plan. When you're working with a multicultural designer, or when you're working with Lincoln Center, or when you're working, you know, with the Schomburg, whatever the venue, whatever the person, whatever the people, the passion pours out. So it's not something that you grab from the outside. There might be moments where you are able to identify things that reflect your passion.
Right.
But it's a connection that happens internally, and that is poured into your job. So without any more, because we can dive in.
I know. Clearly we had a lot to say on this.
We do. And those stories are so important because, you know, I think people in this movement, it's so easy to go on social media and see, you know, a Tiffany the Budgetnista, one of our favorites, you know, and to see Tiffany shining in the way that she is and changing lives and saying, I want to do that, finished product that.
Right. Finished product that. Not seeing all the long grind. Go listen to that episode's Great Girlfriends. Like the long grind that it takes to get there I mean, yeah.
And it's so easy with social to get caught up in the shine of things and not understand, all of the sharpening that takes place over the years and in the moments that are not posted on social and the sacrifice and all the pain, all the pain points that go through you walking out your purpose in a way that feels authentic. Even if it's internal or external to a company, whatever that is.
And I was going to say, too, like that part, like leaving with honor, no matter how people treat you when you walk out the door, to be able to say that I left and the way that I left was with honor. I can actually hold my head high. I know that I did the right thing by that company. I know that I did what I needed to do to keep relationships intact from on my end. You can't control what anyone else do, but you need to leave with that peace. You know what I mean? And I think that is something to consider because sometimes we're running.
Yeah.
We're we're like, this lady getting on my last
and that's
nerve.
so true.
I'm out of here.
That's so true.
I'm going to find
and
my
people
passion.
are running. Right. I'm going to find my passion because my boss gets on my nerves.
Right.
So it's running away from something instead of running towards something and running into something. And that is so big, Brandis. You said you hit it so hard. And sometimes you'll say, my boss is getting on my nerves. So maybe that's confirmation from God.
Yes.
Psych. Did God tell you to be there or not?
As Sybil would say, psych on your life.
Psych on your life. Psych on your life.
Sybil's so
I love
90s.
to say that. I'm so 90s, y'all. And my kids say it. Oh, my goodness. So anyway, we're going to get into, okay, so the number one and the 5 ways to know when when it's time for you to leave your job, when you have clarity on your mission, what translate that simply, Brandis says, what is your why?
Your why has
What
got
is
to be
your
powerful.
why? Is your why so that you can do something greater that is more significant towards what matters to you, which is whatever that is that's on the inside of you that makes you feel alive and what makes you connect with people and what makes you feel like you're getting results and what makes you feel like you are honoring God and honoring the voice within that.
I'm going to say, if that why hasn't pushed you to work on this thing in the wee hours of the night, if it hadn't pushed you to work on this thing when you got off work, when you finished bathing your child, when you finished cooking dinner, that might not be the right why.
That ain't it.
Because the right why will have you up like
a crazy lady,
like a crazy person doing what you need to do to get it done.
That's right. Absolutely. Now seriously, that you need to examine.
And I'm not a night person.
Right. But certain whys, the ones that matter the most, the ones that are your purpose and your mission,
you will sacrifice.
I'm telling you, they will have you missing a lot of or saying to yourself, I can forsake this, that, and the other for this. I'm clear on my why.
And it's an easy decision.
And when you're clear on your why, then you're headed in the right direction. So I would urge you to stop right where you are and say, what is my why? If I'm in a position at a company and I feel good, what is my why? Do I feel like I'm doing good because I'm making good money? For me, that's not enough of a why. But if I feel good because I know that I'm accomplishing something that ties into my purpose, that's a great why. Tiffany R. Warren on Corpreneurship couldn't have said it better.
Oh my God, she was amazing. Yes,
she's amazing. On our podcast, you should check out that episode.
And then I'll say number 2 is when you've done your best on your job to deliver excellence and support the vision. Leaving with honor. We already said that. Leaving with honor, knowing that you've done your best. Don't leave a job and you've done a crap job. Yeah. Like, you've barely been doing anything. You've been doing just enough to get by. You can't call these people back for a favor if you wanted to. Mm-hmm. Like, there's no one around that entire company that would give you a reference because you've done such a horrible job on your way out. Come on. We better than that, great girl.
It's all you have is your name.
Right.
Tina Turner, when she left Ike in that court, she was like, I'm taking my name.
Exactly.
I'm just saying, she did her job. Number 3, when the demand of your dream exceeds the amount of time that you have at your job commitment, which says I'm maintaining it by day at my job and I'm building at night, like Brandis said. That why is pushing you overnight. I know a lady, Cecilia, who loves to crochet, and she crochets everywhere she goes. And maybe one day she'll start a crochet club or some type of knitting company, whatever the sort. But if your nighttime, that passion where you're just pouring pouring it out at night is pouring into your daytime, which means the amount of commitment that you need or the amount of resource or time dedicated towards that dream exceeds the amount of time that you need to spend during the day. That's a sign for you that it's time to make a transition. And I like to think that when that passion is translating at at nighttime, when it's surpassing, you also have a certain amount of revenue.
Right.
That's surpassing.
Right.
That gives you permission to release yourself because, passion without the power of the financial revenue that you can generate from it is no good in your life if it doesn't translate, right?
It will remove the passion.
It will. What? That passion is junk when you tired of eating tuna.
When you don't know how you're going to pay your rent, that passion will fade.
Yep. So keep that in mind.
Absolutely. And number 4 is when you're clear on what you can sacrifice in exchange for your next commitment.
Now that's important. That's important.
Sybil, you seem like you got a word.
I'm telling you, because on my resignation as chief strategy officer at the company that I was with, when I left, I knew that I was walking away from 6 figures.
Right.
And I knew that I was walking away from perks that were associated with having access to access at the levels that I had access. And I knew that it meant that I was going to have to invest from my own resources, my own funds to pour into the time day to day until clients were able to come in and pay what I needed them to pay for what I was doing. And I also knew that it was going to take a lot of my personal resource. So mine was a big financial, right? And initially, because I was investing money towards a business, or my husband and I towards a business that would have more of a long-term return than it would a short-term.
Right.
So I knew that. I also knew that I was sacrificing some of the facade of a title.
Right.
Because sometimes people will think it's more relevant for you to be, the chief at someone else's company than to be the founder at your own.
You better say that.
Right? So I was sacrificing all of the facade of that title, what that meant to other people.
Right.
And also, I was sacrificing the idea some relationships might be severed because some people would say, well, I met you through this company, so I'm loyal to that company. By all means, be loyal. So it may have meant that some of the olive branches I thought I had, or some of the trees I thought I had, I didn't have anymore.
Right.
And I had to be willing to say, am I willing to sacrifice all of that in exchange for the ownership of what I'm doing right now?
Right.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And so number 5, when you have your formula down, now we've talked about this before. We talked about the plan, prepare, execute. But the key to any success for any one of our great girlfriends, great guy friends, that are listening is doing the right thing at the right time to get the right results. If you leave your company at the wrong time, you'll get the wrong results.
Right.
If you leave your company at the right time, you'll get your right results. You have to know, you have to be in sync with what's happening inside of your body, what God has planned for you, your ability to sacrifice, like what your commitment can be and how you can honor it. You have to know yourself really well, because it's easy for us all to say, have these visions of grandeur. When I leave and when I go out and when I start my own, I would do it differently. Of course you,
right.
you would. We'd all do it differently. Doesn't mean you do it better though.
No, it's absolutely true. You saying that made me think of me and my dad. So before I moved to New York, we would walk around our neighborhood. That would be our time to get an exercise and also to kind of talk and chat. Mm-hmm. And there was this one time, and I said, I hadn't told him that I was quitting yet. Mm-hmm. And I didn't tell my dad, I'm quitting, and then give my resignation letters. I gave my resignation letters first, and then said, Dad, I'm quitting.
Yeah.
I quit already. So I told him, what I had done, and he was just like, well, Brandes, why would you do that? And I said, Dad, I cannot explain it to you. Mm-hmm. I just know that this is the right thing for me to do right now.
Yeah.
And I did the thing that I felt like God told me to do. I wrote all those personal, heartfelt, emotional letters that were very sincere. I wrote all those letters. I did that thing that I thought I was supposed to do. And I just have to kind of trust from here. Yeah. And, Dad being dad don't always get it. And I'm sure I'll be the same way with Sky.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, you want your children to be safe.
Stable. That's right.
But I just knew. And it was the same thing when I quit my job at International Intimates. I just knew that was the right time. I was dating Rich. I felt like he was going to propose soon. I felt like he was my husband. And I said, I have to quit before he proposes. And so that was one of the reasons. And then I just kind of had, because I said, I don't want him to propose and then I quit.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't want him to think he made a big mistake.
What's she trying to do? What's she doing?
But that was important to me. And the other thing was, I just knew there was something that I felt like this is going to be a big year for us.
Yeah.
A big year. And it's going to require a lot from me. And I can't explain it, but I just knew.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I had tried to quit before.
Yeah.
That was the wrong time to quit. And thank God they didn't let me quit.
Yeah.
Thank the Lord they didn't let me quit. I was so not prepared. I didn't even have a clear vision for what HFR was going to be. I had only done one event.
See?
And I go quitting.
Yeah.
Really?
I mean, we all have that rebel inside of us. This is like that, that just want to just, bump the establishment. Everyone has a little edge inside of them, but we can't let that push us over. We have to be very strategic about how we manage these dreams because they're meant to be visualized. I mean, they're meant to be manifested in a certain way. And I think it's like you said, it was so timely. Even when I think back on last year, the timing was so succinct for me because I knew that there was more. Next thing you know, when we start launching the Great Girlfriends, it's like we got on a jet. And I don't even realize, I can't even summarize how fast things started to propel in terms of the Great Girlfriends. And this is not our full time. This is still a side. It's still, a piece of our larger brand picture. But when I look at if I had stayed any longer and done any more and dedicated any more of myself to other people's dreams, I would have been forsaking women around the world.
And you know what? I mean, this is not about me at all.
Yeah.
But I can tell you, Sybil, that if we had the idea for Great Girlfriends after Sky was born, I wouldn't have done it.
Oh my gosh.
I can tell you like almost with 100% certainty because I didn't know what motherhood required.
Yeah.
So
she was like, it's going to be a walk in the park.
But if we had started it after Sky was born, I don't think I would have jumped in that jet.
No, I know. Yeah.
It was perfect timing.
The timing was perfect. And consequently, the right results are here before us. And so that is always a formula you can look at. Sometimes you get results and you're like, these results don't look right. It's possible you did something, out of chemistry, or out of relationship with the formula. Maybe you moved too fast.
Yeah.
Maybe you need to back yourself up a bit. And it's okay to look at your own picture right now and assess where you are with your company and with your dreams and say, not right now.
And just back up.
Back it up.
Had I quit, if they had let me quit, because I gave a whole resignation letter in 2009. I ended up quitting again in 2011. That was the right time. 2009, I was going to be a hot mess. And to be honest with you, I don't know if HFR would be what it is now had I quit in 2009 because I just wasn't clear.
Yeah.
I didn't even have the full vision in my head. I was just excited and passionate and ready.
Yeah.
But I was not at the maturity level I needed to be at to quit a job.
Yeah. There it is.
I just wasn't.
I promise, I want everyone to be so fulfilled and to walk it out and live out their dreams.
Yes.
And feel the amount of joy that I feel and you feel on a daily basis when you're doing what you love and knowing what it takes to sacrifice. We are well aware of what it takes to, what sacrifices we can and cannot make. I will never sacrifice the God in me.
Absolutely.
I will never sacrifice my family.
Right.
I will sacrifice money because I believe that you can make an investment in your time, and that's another currency for me, or in money in exchange for the long game. So I'm always looking to play the long game. But I know that the things that I will, and I won't forsake my relationships with people. Relationships matter to me. To be clear, I won't let relationships hold me back. But I won't, say, I'll scoop Great Girlfriends. This could be a solo great show. We don't need Brandis. No, boo. That's unethical.
You know what, though? You know what I was thinking, too, Sip, was this is a whole nother podcast. I'm just going to preface it with that. Don't forsake your marriage.
Girl, ever never.
Because sometimes your husband's not ready yet.
Yeah. Yeah.
You haven't made it real clear to him. Y'all both got to be on the same page with it.
That's so true.
Because that I mean, if Rich was not on the same page with me, we would it would not have worked.
It'd be a war. Yeah.
It would be pure war in my house every day. So I want, the great girlfriends who are married, as you're thinking about this, make sure that the whole household is on board, and that sometimes men see things in black and white. And so women, sometimes we're a little bit more the dreamers. Yeah. It's not always like that, but sometimes it's like that. And sometimes we can kind of rebel against that because it's like, you don't understand my passion. Yep. And he's like, but let's look at the finances and what we have coming. And I used to be one who used to rebel against it. Now I'm so appreciative for it. Yeah. So just the great girlfriends out there who have husbands, make sure that you guys are both on the same page with it, and that you explain it to him. And if he's not ready, could be a reason for that.
So true. There could be some blind spots.
I told you.
Yeah, it is. It's true. It's true. I mean, I probably wouldn't have, I knew in my heart 2013, I didn't tell Kwaku at that time, but I knew in my heart, and I had it written down, and I could see it. And when Kwaku started coming to me about it being time, I was like, oh, it's seeping out my ball. Like, it's starting to be revealed. And that was just one of those moments that I needed. That was like, it wasn't that I needed permission, but I did need to know that God had shown, Kwaku as my leader, what was taking place, and that he was going to be on board with it, instead of me saying, I'm about to drop these digits. These are all going to be on your back now. Right. Yes, we have 2 kids and a whole bunch of other stuff, but that's for you to figure out now.
Right.
I need to go do me.
Right.
What is that?
Right.
What kind of woman? So no, you're absolutely right.
All right. Well, that's a wrap.
Angela just shut us down, y'all. She over there I'm not even going to look at her,
She's
y'all.
giving up.
Angela's like, they're just going to ramble on and on. Angela.
Disrespectful.
How are we going to have a time person and then don't honor the time person?
We just been ignoring Angela.
Sorry, Angela. Sorry, it's Brandis. Hubbies, thank you. Kwaku.
Thank you, Rich.
Yes, we're having a hubby planning meeting, and I'm,
Lord Jesus. Help us. Y'all pray for us.
Pray for us. Sam Dilly, we love you.
And Miss Sky, who's the one.
Yay.
And to our amazing sisters, and our mom and our dad, and brothers and cousins and cousins and who else we got?
Oh, aunts
and uncles who all support us and love us and who are cheering us on. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you. And thank you to all of you girlfriends for trusting us as your go-to source for everything life, love, and laughter. Please make sure you listen each Wednesday on iTunes, Stitcher, Podcast Republic, Blueberry, Podcast Bean, every other podcast source. If we're not on there, let us know. We'd love to be on there.
Absolutely. And check us out on social, on our Instagram,
The Great Girlfriends,
Twitter,
_Great GFS,
Facebook,
The Great Girlfriends.
You can also go into our Facebook group, which has 12,000 plus amazing women in it who are active and talking and building friendships and going out together and scheduling movie dates and all kinds of stuff in that group. So please check out our website, www.thegreatgirlfriends.com. Post your questions, share with your friends.
Keep listening and keep being a great girlfriend. I'm Sybil.
And I'm Brandis.
And we're signing off.
Bye, guys. We love you.
We love you. Peace.